Nurses of Reddit. What's the most entertaining thing someone has said coming off of anesthesia? A man asked me if his body parts still belong to him and I still think about it LMAO. I work in the OR. Funniest was a guy quickly sat straight up after extubation. We're all standing around him making sure he doesn't try to jump off the table. He looks at me and then slowly gives me double finger guns. Turns his head to another staff member and slowly gives them finger guns. Didn't say a word. Just finger guns. A lot of people wake up really crazy. They start swinging or just get really restless on a narrow or bed. It's nice when people wake up sleepy and I'll just bundle 'em up with blankies and roll out. Woke up thinking I'd had sex with my doctor. And apologized to him for how bad it was. Well. Sounds like a decent starting for a porno story. BTW. What was your doctor's reaction? When I got my wisdom teeth out, the nurse was trying to wake me up and said, "Okay. It's time to open your eyes. Can you open your eyes for me?" I said, "Say please." She said please very nicely. And I opened my mouth as wide as I could. ER Tech here. We often do conscious sedations with ketamine to realign broken bones. I had a 10-year-old girl who snapped her arm on the trampoline. When she was coming out of the ketamine slumber, she asked why she saw God. Little freaky. She also snarfed down 4 PB&J sandwiches after and I was impressed. The best has to be the sledding accident kid who snapped his tibia. When he was coming out of the ketamine sleep, he kept begging us not to tell his mom he smoked weed for the first time the day before. His mom was in the room while this was taking place. We had to slide board a patient from the stretcher to his bed after an endoscopy. You put a board between bed and stretcher and then grab patient and slide them over to bed with sheet underneath them. My patient screamed "wee!" and then proceeded to tell us that these are the best drugs ever and that it felt like the 60s again. Guy wakes up in the recovery room after left knee replacement surgery and starts talking with his wife. "Well, at least I still have 2 good knees." "Oh honey," she replied. "You just had knee surgery." He interrupts in a loud voice. "My right knee and my weena." A 15-year-old was waking up and talking, trying to get out of bed before he was ready. "Bud. Where are you going?" "I've got to go to my locker." "Buddy. You're in the hospital. You can't go to your locker right now. So where are you trying to go?" Serious expression. Future. I had a male patient who as he woke up mumbled, "I'm not pregnant." Did a short stint in recovery as part of my graduate program. I got proposed to a couple of times. Same guy would walk past me in the corridor a day later and not recognize me. My brother got his wisdom teeth out not too long ago. When he woke up, he started laughing a lot. Like he wasn't laughing super hard. But he was laughing for super long and it almost sounded monotone. After a couple minutes of just flatline laughter, he stopped and mumbled chicken like it's what he was laughing at. Don't know why, but it stopped him from laughing for a bit. I came out of it in the middle of a conversation with Gandalf. I was trying to sell him Tupperware. Not a nurse, but I had dental surgery at a hospital in Bangkok a few years ago. I had pretty much come out of anesthesia and was just waiting for the doctor and discharge stuff. There was this giant Aussie guy also in recovery and he kept trying to sneak away. Like he'd look around, grab his 4-pole, and tiptoe toward the exit. The nurses were just kind of herding him around the room back to his bed. Then he'd do the same thing again. The nurse with me asked if I wanted the curtains closed and I was like hell no. I just had major oral surgery and this is funny. So she and I sat there for nearly 20 minutes watching his shenanigans. Nurses have patience like saints. I swear. When I was in high school I was just getting put under and feeling loopy for a wisdom teeth operation and the nurse was making small talk with me and told me she graduated from the same high school I went to and was on the dance team and I told her no you weren't. You have to be pretty to be on the dance team right before blacking out. I think about this sometimes before I go to sleep at night. Nurse, I am so sorry to do you like that when you were just doing your job. A friend of mine woke up after surgery and stated I want to eat a Christmas tree. Not a nurse. But my twin sister started speaking fluent Spanish to my mom after she woke up from getting her wisdom teeth removed. We're half Puerto Rican on our mom's side. So we've grown up hearing Spanish. But neither of us had ever carried a fluent conversation with her in it. But apparently my doped up sister could. Patient here with a great story nonetheless. When I got my wisdom teeth removed, I apparently had a religious experience. I'm agnostic. I told my mom who was with me that I saw people walking on water. Next, I kept telling her that I saw Jesus. Apparently, when the female nurse came back into the room I did the Catholic sign of the cross and whispered to my mom, "That's him. That's Jesus." The nurse lost her speep. "Drink this juice." Young me. "Oh fine." Drinks it. Falls asleep in under a minute. Me after surgery. "Mum, why are you laughing? You told the nurse that she was a naughty girl and that you would call Dad to punch her." Not a nurse. But was in charge of my sister after she got her wisdom teeth out. Got her in the car and she was bawling. Wouldn't stop crying and trying to put her fingers in her mouth. Mind you, she was 20 at the time. I got her back to my apartment. And she's having a hard time staying upright. So I'm helping support her as we walk up to the door. She's still crying. But is now trying to do a heel click. We almost fall over. My neighbor sees us and runs over to help open my door. We get her inside. She then proceeds to spend another hour crying about how she wants to write a Harry Potter/Pride and Prejudice crossover ballet, in which she would play Dumbledore, Lizzie Bennet, and Mr. Darcy herself. I then asked her who I would play. She said Hedwig and Mr. Collins. That's when it stopped being entertaining. Edit. Thank you for my first Reddit award. Patient here. Went on a long rant about how Bugs Bunny appeared in my dreams and told me lies. No idea how my brain came up with that one. At the dentist I woke up like a shot from anesthesia. Got up. And ran through the assistants chasing me. I ran to the washroom, still drugged up, looked into the mirror and while pawing my numb face said I need to make sure I don't look like Joan Rivers. Female patient after C-section asking me how many chickens she had. Because she had beef with pig. Her husband translated later. How much the baby weighed. Because I have a bet with hubby. Not a nurse, but I underwent a procedure and had to be put under anesthesia. According to my dad who was in the room. The doctor asked me how I was feeling and I said to him, "I feel like Speep. Can I go back to hell?" Not really funny I guess, but it was funny at the time. Middle-aged woman with obvious surgical enhancements coming off of anesthesia from a diagnostic procedure. I was listening to her lungs with my stethoscope and told her all right. Nice big breaths. She said thanks, I just got them done. It was so hard to compose myself, haha, now I say deep breaths. Not a nurse, but after I got my wisdom teeth out I was convinced I was Clark Kent and kept taking my glasses off and mumbling I'm Superman. And then I cried when they told me they were going to put my teeth in the incinerator because for some reason drugged me thought they meant all my teeth. Had my appendix out and according to my wife the doctor came around with a bunch of student doctors and pulled my gown to the side to show the keyhole scars. Now the bottom one is below the pants line and I wasn't wearing underwear and apparently I said don't act like you're not impressed then closed my eyes. They all had a good laugh. My wife was mortified and I was sound asleep. Still hear about it from her almost 10 years later. When my brother got home after his wisdom teeth he was on the couch in the TV room laughing and when we asked what he was laughing he said that this was the funniest show ever. The TV wasn't on. So I am a nurse. But my favorite coming out of anesthesia story was my husband's. I went back to see him in recovery and he was super eager to leave and was trying to remember where he parked and I said, "Don't worry babe, I'll bring the car around. You know where the car is?" "I do, I drove us here." "You drove us here? Oh my god, you drove us here? Thank you. You're welcome, I was happy to do it." "Oh my god, you drove us here. Oh wow." He was close to tears at this point. I took him to lunch after and he nodded off while staring intently at a novelty salt shaker. My favorite while I was working was a man who woke up from a double great toe amputation and was super worked up about how he was going to wear flip-flops until I suggested he try out slides instead.